This podcast is proudly brought to you by Paul's Strength Book, an app for everyone. For less than $2 a day, you can have full access to weight training programs, nutrition, recipes, macro calculators, video library, and you can also track all of your metrics including weight, measurements, strength, and performance. Search for Paul's Strength Book in all good app stores now. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Paul's Body Engineering Podcast. Today is a great interview with an up-and-coming, and I'm going to be biased here, potential world-class bikini athlete, and that is Deb Morris. Now, Deb's been a client of mine since 2019, and this year is her second season or potential season. That's only 21 days away at the time of this podcast. Now, I wanted to talk to Deb about her preparation, about her off-season, just about the different nuances and idiosyncrasies she's applied to her prep, because it has been, without a doubt, one of the best I've ever come across. It has been seamless. She has had a successful week, every single week a check-in. Her physique is looking amazing. She isn't suffering from any fatigue at this point, so it's going really, really well, and I wanted to talk to her and just showcase the hard work she's put in and what will potentially be delivered on stage as, like I said, a world-class physique. So, without further ado, let's get on with the podcast and have a chat to Deb. Hit record. We're recording, and we'll just run it. So, obviously, I've got Deb Morris from Melbourne on podcast today. So, how are you going, Deb?
Hello.
It was 1 degree yesterday in Melbourne, was it? I think I saw one of your.
Oh, mate, it's been 1 degree. Oh, it was okay. Yesterday was a little bit better, but I think it was, what day is it today? Friday. Wednesday was 1 degree.
1 degree.
Nearly -1 at some parts of Melbourne. And
so talk us through that. Like, when do you train? Morning or afternoon at the moment? What's your preference?
Oh, always morning. So
okay, so you got to get outside
switching
in 1 degree and walk to the gym. Is that right?
Yeah.
You drive.
Yeah, I take public transport.
So, and 1 degree, are you like just regretting life in that moment at some stage because it's so damn cold?
I don't really think about it too much. I don't check the weather app before I get out of bed or anything. I just get up and
yeah, okay.
I'll get hit with it if I get hit with it. I do have a massive fur coat, like not a real fur coat, but like a massive, really
big
warm coat that I wear. And I'm fine with that, but sometimes when I'm in the gym, so I train at Doherty's and there's not really much like heating, or it's just a tunnel.
Yeah.
And some mornings, like I'm holding on to dumbbells, it's like my fingers literally go numb, and I'm like, what am I doing?
What am I doing? Why am I
contemplating life?
Oh, well, yeah. Oh dear. Well, I wanted to get you on because I wanted to chat to you about your prep. As we just said off air, we're 21 days out from your first show. So we're getting very, very close. It's less than a month now. And your preparation has been, for lack of a better term, just seamless. There's been no disruption, no issue, no bumps in the road. Every single week we've seen progress on your physique. And, so I wanted to chat and just get your insight into all the different little idiosyncrasies that you've done to obviously prepare this time around. Because, this isn't your first season. You did one back in 2019. But it's fair to say that this one has been by far just much more comfortable. You're not, as we just spoke about off air again, you're not feeling the depths of energy deficit, or, you're not struggling in terms of hunger. Like, none of that sort of stuff has crept up to be overwhelming at any stage, has it?
No. And yeah, as we said off air as well, it's like it all comes down to the off season and the work you put in at that point. Like, look, I'm not perfect. I didn't stick to the meals in, like, prepped meals 100% of the time in the off season. I still went out and enjoyed a couple of meals here and there.
Absolutely.
But I think like my food choices probably improved as well, just like knowing, the consequences of what agrees with my stomach and what doesn't, like that. I think that's very important as well. Just like not eating stuff like I feel like whole foods I'm eating a lot more of as well
Sure.
compared to, 4 years ago when I was a uni student
Eating
and
noodles and
making oh you don't want to see what I was eating in first year of uni. Oh, it was so bad. I'll tell you one thing. This is a little inside joke with me and my uni friends. My first meal, I think, when I moved out of home, like by myself, it was a frozen cheeseburger from the frozen aisle in, Coles. Oh, it
yeah,
was disgusting.
frozen
Why would I?
cheeseburger.
Why? I don't understand why I wouldn't just get a fresh bloody burger. But anyway,
Oh
so
no.
we've come a long way.
You've matured a lot.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh my
dear.
God.
Well, take us through the off season because one of the factors that many people struggle with is carrying that little bit of extra weight, and as we
Yeah.
know, extra weight provides extra strength, and obviously you're eating more as well. So that's they all work together. But talk
Mm.
through how that was for you in terms of not only how you felt in yourself, but also performance wise in the gym. And has that declined over the period that you've lost? What are we up to now? 9 and a bit kilos, aren't we?
Yeah, how many kilos we've lost? I think my
Yeah.
highest was 68 or
Mm.
69 kilos.
Yep.
And now we're what, like 55? We're around the 55s
Yep.
now. So, it's interesting. I kind of, I don't know, like it was very uncomfortable to
Yeah.
start
Okay.
with, like
Yep.
going
No, that's
eating
fair.
that
Yeah.
much. I remember there were some dinners where I had to catch up on carbs and I was eating, like so much rice. And I was just like, I don't know, it kind of got to a point where it was like unenjoyable
Yep.
because I was eating not crap food, I was eating pretty whole food and, the amount of volume you got to eat to catch up on calories sometimes. I don't know. I was just like, oh, I didn't want to do this. But it fueled my leg sessions really good.
Mm.
And I've got this theory that, rice helps grow your glutes. That must be
I
a secret or something, like the secret solution to grow on your glutes. But I swear, the more rice you eat, the bigger your glutes grow.
Well, it must have worked because they're definitely bigger. There's no two ways about that. We've seen the before and after photos.
Yeah.
Of
So yeah, I love rice, and because I'm half Filipino, I grew up with rice, so
course.
it's just natural for me to go to that carb source for everything. Wait, what was I talking about again? Off season.
Maybe you do have some
No, we've
context
got
of
to go
our
on a
own there.
tangent.
The off season, the off season. So obviously carrying the extra weight was somewhat uncomfortable, but you got used to it. But the strength side of things was highly advantageous, you found.
Yeah, yeah. So I was trying to make the most out of, all that food. I did feel a bit clunky sometimes. That was
Mm,
probably a downside. But I wouldn't say my effort in the gym has declined. I think it's
that's good.
actually
Yep.
gone up,
Okay.
which is weird. It might just because when I see results, I kind of start working harder,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Nice.
no, I'm probably not the only one that thinks like that too. Like, when you see a muscle in the mirror, you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's and I think the mind muscle connection's also better too
Yep.
when you're a bit leaner. So I think yeah, performance wise, been the same. What else? Off season.
Well, you're talking all fair about preparing your mind as well.
Yeah, mindset stuff.
Yep.
So if you're considering doing a prep, like I find that, this is just my second season, so I'm not like a super experienced person in this, but I found personally to keep that, like, what they call the horse
Tunnel vision, the
blinders,
blinkers on.
the blinkers are, yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta have that the whole way through prep. And if you're not used to just focusing on what you can control, like it gets a lot harder to kind of manage at the back end of prep. So yeah, I think there's value in, mentioning to people who might be interested in doing a contest prep. You got to work on your mindset. You got to have positive self-talk too. That's very important.
Yep.
You got to have your own back. Like there's going to be moments where you're going to doubt yourself. I still doubt myself a lot too. And sometimes I need people around me to kick me into gear again. But like I know in the back of my head, like, yeah, like I know I've got my own back and I know I can do this
Yep.
type of thing. So you got to have that belief in yourself to get through the entire journey. So there are a couple of books that I read. I think that the top one, actually, if you're in a prep right now, I would recommend reading Relentless by Tim Grover.
Oh, I've heard of
Really
that.
good book.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
good for mindset.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely get on that. And I found it kind of, just if I'm feeling a bit like, oh meh, a bit meh, or why am I doing this type thing? I'll read
No.
that, like a few pages of that, and it's just like, bam, my mindset's back.
There you go. Well, that's good. That, like the brain's just like the body, isn't it? It's a muscle, so you got to train it and keep
Yeah,
on top of it. Yeah, particularly
yeah,
when food gets lower.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like there are some days, like I've been pretty good most of the time, but
Yep.
some days I swear there are days where the food just goes through me and it doesn't do anything. And it's
Yeah.
just
Okay.
like that. What? Like, where's my energy? Come on.
Well, that's to be expected, I suppose, at this late stage. But the I guess the what am I trying to say? The prep itself, like I said, has been relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but there hasn't been a lot of challenges for yourself, has there, in
Mm,
terms of
yeah,
energy, in terms of training performance, in terms of managing hunger, which are obviously the common things that pop up when you go through a prep. Have
yeah.
you done anything specific to sort of anticipate that, or it's just been that simple?
I mean, I think the biggest thing I learned from my previous season was I remember I was looking through my old Instagram stories and I saw how food focused I was. I
Ah,
was
okay.
looking at, social
Yep.
media posts of cookies and
Yep.
cakes and like even me looking at that now, I'm like, that doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
Like I know how sick it will make me feel.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, it just comes down to how you think and what you consume as well. So
Mm.
not like food wise, like what social media stuff you
Yes.
consume.
Yes.
Um, what else would made prep easier? I
So
don't know.
do you think drawing on that previous season in 2019 has helped a lot? Like knowing what you
Yeah,
have learned from that?
yeah, and I think also there's no real pressure on me to kind of like I'm not really obsessed with like what everyone else is doing. Like I'm
Yep.
just comparing myself back to that 2019 Deb.
Mm.
And if I come out of this in a much better condition than what I was back then I'm sweet, I'm happy, I'm content. Like I think my first season I was very like I had no idea really. I was like going into it like I was like, oh, am I ready enough? Like I have to look at other girls who are doing the same comp and
Sure.
you start comparing and
Yep.
get into that rabbit hole. But this time around I'm like chilling. I'm just cruising.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So
Yeah.
speaking of obviously other competitors and stuff, you recently went to the IFBB Victoria workshop. Talk us through that.
Yeah.
How'd you feel? Was there when you walked in there, were you a little bit, whoa, or because you had to
Oh,
get up and you had to do a posing routine and you had to go through all the bits and pieces, didn't you?
yeah. Yeah. So IFBB, I've been nervous about IFBB because I've always like looked up to those girls and like
Mm,
saw their Instagram story, all the Instagram posts, and being in the same lineup as these girls as well. I was just a bit nervous about that, but it was really good to kind of you know, just be like see these girls in person and then realize it's not the exact same as what you see on like social media and
of
stuff. Like
course.
it's fine.
Mm,
Yeah. And it was just really good to get some like posing practice in with like real people. Like I haven't really had the chance to, be in a lineup and practice a
Yep.
routine and all that. So no, it was really good. And there was a big crowd too. It was a pretty good show up. I think it was like 100 people, maybe
Yeah, nice.
50 to
Okay.
100.
Yep. So that wasn't
Yeah, so it
daunting
was
for
like,
you? No, you were happy. Yeah, because you did a
oh,
solo routine. I think I saw in one of the videos too, didn't you? Before you did the lineup.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I got someone to record it
Yep.
because I wanted to see what I could improve on,
Hmm.
and it was my posture.
Ah, chest up.
Like, yeah, chest up, that's the main thing. So coming into this season, if you see me hunching, you need to yell at me and get me,
I will. Don't
tell me
worry.
to get my chest up. It's just, oh, it's my desk job. Like,
Yeah, of
oh,
course.
I was also, I was talking to Don about this. It's also because naturally, when you're nervous, you kind of tend to shy
Of
away
course.
from
Yeah.
people. So you start to, not
Fetal
open
position
up. And
almost. Yeah.
yeah, like I wish I was in the fetal position because that was scary. But
Yep.
um, no, no, it was really good. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my second one. So I went to the season A one as well.
That's right. You
It
did. Yeah.
just, but I didn't do the routine because I was in off-season shape and everyone was kind of like competing. So I was like, no, I'm just gonna watch this time.
Yeah. 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 No, fair call. Speak about posing. Obviously, give Donna a shout out, but you've been
Yeah,
very diligent with your posing practice, haven't you? You like even in the off season you started, and
yeah.
tell us how often you practice in relation to daily between I know you do it at the gym pretty much every time you train. Do you do any
Mm.
additional beyond that?
Yes. I'll start with off-season. Like I can't stress enough how important it is to start in your off season, even though it's so uncomfortable. Like,
Mm.
and I recorded it too, and I was looking back on it the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I've changed.
Actually, a good video
Like
would
the
be you side by side off season now and see if you can
yeah,
time them to be similar. That'd actually look really good.
yeah. I'll try and do like a comparison or
Yeah.
something, but yeah, just documenting everything's good in general. But yeah, off season I didn't do as often. I'd say once a week I was doing like or maybe once or twice, like sometimes at gym,
Mm.
sometimes at home. But one thing I started doing was re-listening to season A's, like the recorded shows on YouTube.
Yes, it's a good little
And I
hack.
would
This.
have, yeah, I would have that playing in the background, and then I would practice the timing of
Yep.
like, okay, so I'd put on like the IFBB show, for example, and then they'd be like, so and so walk out, like, this is the single routine, right? I'd listen to that and like how long of a time they have
Mm.
to do their singular routine, and I'll try and like, pace myself to match that so I have something to work with.
Yep.
And have also the crowd sounds in the background, and you just like you
Get
get
used to
so
all that.
delusional.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a delusional moment, like, yeah, I'm on stage right now, like, and you feel nervous and you're like, what?
But that's good, right? Like that's practicing to with as close to reality as you possibly can. You've got the sound, you hear the
Yeah,
MC's voice, you know the timing, you hear the
yeah,
crowd. So that's going to put you in a stronger position, And at the end of the day, we want you up there posing seamlessly. You're not thinking about it. It doesn't look like you're a deer in the headlights. Your body just is automatic, and you know exactly what's going on.
yeah. I'm just hoping like on the day it will be good.
Oh, of course it will be.
Like you can practice as much as you can, but sometimes you can stuff up on the day, and that's
Oh,
fine. Like you can trip, or who
yeah.
knows what's going
Nah, you'll be
to
right. You will be. There's no two ways about that. You did some vacuum practice too, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes. So to talk about that because I don't know a lot about that.
Like I wanted to go into this season with a tighter waist. So
Hmm.
I was, looking back on my old photos, I was like, why is my core like, not as tight as it could be? So I started doing vacuums in off season. It wasn't super consistent, but as soon as prep started, I started implementing them just
Sure.
in the morning or after work or whenever, and yeah, just a little bit of ab stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very, very important to kind of, train that side of things because I don't know, my waist has definitely shrunk more, like
Mm.
compared to previous prep. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know too much about it. Like I just kind of follow like a YouTube tutorial.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah.
just do that.
That's cool. No, that's good. Like you said, you want to create the tightest waist you can because obviously then that
Yeah.
gives a wider shoulder to waist ratio and a wider hip to waist ratio. So, you know,
Yeah.
they've grown and we want the thing to come in and therefore you've got the correct shape. So that's good. Like it's just another 1% that you can add to your posing, your training, your practice. That's going to
Mm,
enhance your physique even further, which is,
absolutely.
given how
Yeah.
competitive this sport is now, we need every 1% we can get.
It also helps with like breathing and
Yeah.
stuff when you're posing and holding your poses.
Yep.
So yeah, I find it's still hard though, don't get me wrong, because last night I think I did like 45 minutes of posing practice that I was holding the front pose as long as I could. You know how like when you're on the
Yes.
sidelines, then you have to wait for everyone to do their routine.
Yep.
I was like, all right, I need to do this a bit more so I can actually hold this pose for like 5 minutes plus
Okay. Yep.
without like, busting out in breath. Um, so, yeah, I was doing that last night, and yeah, I reckon vacuums helps in just
Okay.
posing and holding your posture up better too. Yeah.
Yep. Um, how's Donna helped you? Because obviously you used her in the first season, but how's
Yep.
she helped you? Because obviously you're doing ICN and IFBB, which are very different in terms of their posing styles, right? So has she
Yeah.
crafted both routines and quarter turns and stuff to really help you define the two and not get mixed up? Has she helped a lot in that respect?
Yeah, so I started with Donna, I think it was February this year. I
Yep.
started doing, the one-on-one session. So we started with IFBB and then got that all knuckled down and then I know now what to do exactly for IFBB. And then
Yep.
after that we started the ICN stuff. So it has been hard to, like it's a way easier now, but there were some times where I was getting like I was starting posing practice for one and then I'd stuff it up and do half of an ICN pose and I'm like, oh, that's not good. Let's
Yeah.
not do that. But she's done really well in like, customizing my two routines for two different federations and, bringing out the best in my shape. So I think I've still got one more session with her next week, I think,
Okay.
to
Yep.
kind of polish up a couple of things. But no, yeah, she's been great, and yeah, she's her teaching methods are really good too. Like they're just really memorable. She has nicknames for like
I was about
different.
to say the videos you've sent me, like she says, okay, do the window wiper or the teapot or
Yeah,
and
pizza dough.
yeah, pizza dough. That's it. But I mean, you remember that, right? You're going to
Yeah,
remember that because it's so silly.
and it just gets stuck in your head, and
Yeah. Oh,
when you're
good.
doing your practice, it's
It's
just
a good way to
automatic.
teach. Absolutely. That's good. So
Yeah,
yeah, share that to Donna for sure.
yeah,
So,
100%.
with 21 days to go, obviously, what's the plan from your end now moving forward before you head to Townsville being the first show? Is it routine as normal? Have you got anything else you need to do in terms of your own preparation, organisation, or everything's been organised in advance and now it's just a matter of smooth sail forward?
I've booked everything I've needed. I'm pretty sure I do need to do another checklist and double check everything. But I know makeup's booked. I
Yep.
know I've registered. I haven't paid for the divisions yet. I don't think I
Okay.
need to do
Yep.
that.
But that's
But
that's a
yeah,
point in itself, isn't it? Be organised early. Have those things booked
yeah,
and
and
paid for in advance, so you're not worrying about them in the last couple of weeks.
yeah, you don't want to raise your cortisol levels
Yeah.
over stuff that could be managed. So I don't know. I've always been like a organized person, so I like to just have everything ready to go, and then I can just cruise in and not stress about anything.
Mm.
There might be some things that pop up that are unexpected, but what can you do? Like
No, that's
that's
it.
fine.
That's it. If you've planned and managed as much as you can, then time and energy is going to be available for other things anyway, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah,
we roll into Townsville, and then we head to ICN Brisbane,
yeah,
and then it's the IFBB one. So obviously the first two, with all due respect to ICN, you know, your bucket list item is the IFBB show, right? That's the one you want to not necessarily do well in, but present your best physique would be the best way to put it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll try and bring my best to all of them though.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course. Yeah.
so,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but the shape that I aspire to have is definitely the IFBB bikini shape. Like,
Yep.
I don't know, those girls are next level, and
Mm.
that's my goal. That's my big goal.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I just want to be up there and compared to, like, see what I need to bring up, see what, like bigger delts. I definitely know I need bigger delts.
That's okay. But I
And
mean, these are the things we've identified as your body has sort of, presented
yeah,
itself through the prep. We're going, okay, well, here's some improvements we can make. And that's really good because clearly you've got ambitions to go beyond this season. So there
yeah,
are things we can program in and focus on moving forward, which is a good thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main goal for me this season is to just do it. I mean, I've been holding myself back for so long, and I think it's now or never, right? Like, just do it. And
Yeah.
even though I I have work to do, but we always got work to do. Like, after
Absolutely.
this season, I'm gonna go ham and yeah, keep going.
Nice. But at the after the IFBB Victoria, there's one big goal
Yes,
that you're going to hit, and where's that? What are we doing after that?
Japan.
Japan. How exciting. So how did that
That
come
was
about?
Oh God, actually, that's a good point. I was gonna go to Japan anyway, and I think I kind of timed it, like I lined it up so it could happen.
Mm,
But I've always wanted to do an international show, even though this is only just my second season. So I was like, you know what? I just want to do it. I think I saw a few vlogs of some other ladies who also did the Japan show, and it looked really good, like really organized and
I reckon so.
exciting. And
Yep.
yeah, so that I think actually setting that as my goal for this year has kicked my ass into gear, I think,
Well, I
because
mean, it's a big goal. Like the Amateur Olympia is pretty big.
yeah,
Yeah. So you're going to be
and
on stage with some of the world's best, and they're all gunning for a pro card. Like they don't go all the way to Japan unless that's on
yeah,
offer. So
yeah.
yeah,
So I
you're
think
going to be on stage with some of the best in the business, which is pretty inspiring.
yeah, and I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna try
absolutely.
it.
Like, irrespective of the result, the fact that you're there is massive,
Yeah,
and it's going to be tough too. Like, don't get me wrong, because it's in November, right? Whereas
yeah,
your last show of the regular season finishes in start of October, so you've got a month, 5 weeks or something before Japan. So we've got to, normally I would advise most athletes to have a short, sharp season, get in, get out, because obviously, we don't want to prolong and put more stress on the body than necessary. But I think
mm,
with your attitude and the fact that your prep has been so good, a season like this where there is that late back end show won't affect you in the slightest. And the fact that you're so excited to get there too will just drive you home. It'll get you to that final destination.
yeah. And I kind of see it like that gap in between as time to improve. Like I could, knuckle down more on conditioning, or like depending on how we rock up at IFBB Victoria, like, we can kind of see what we can work
Yeah.
on and what
Yep.
we can tweak the posing or something,
Well, that's it.
there's
We've
a
got,
time.
yeah, we've got time to refine things, to improve it, to bring you in even tighter if we need to, which it does have its advantages. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I haven't been stressing about it. I've been more excited. I have like a little countdown on my phone for it. And I'm like, oh, it's only 95 days now.
How good. 95 days to that and 21 to the first of the season. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I'm over the moon. Like I don't know. I'm still jumping out of bed wanting to go to gym. So I don't think anyone can wipe my smile off my face anytime soon.
How good. That's awesome. Well, speaking of that, I mean, a lot of people at this stage, and we've spoken about that at length, have struggled with energy. And we know how important gym training is at this point because calories are low, you're in a deficit, the chance of muscle breakdown is quite high. So you've got to be training still to a reasonable capacity, but you haven't found any issue. Like, if anything, you're excited to get to the gym, even on leg days.
Yeah.
Simple answer, yes.
Okay, there is one day of the week though. I think it's Wednesday, which is my second leg day, and Bulgarians at the start.
Oh,
Come on.
yeah. It's better at the start than 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, that is true. But that's probably the only exercise I'm like, oh God, really?
I've never come across anyone in my 10 years that has liked Bulgarians. They're evil, but geez, they're effective.
Yeah, I like the outcome of them.
Yeah,
I just
don't like doing them. You need to Airtask it to someone. Can you do my Bulgarians? I'll do the rest, and then let me know how you go.
So please, like, give me the result. You can do the work.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. No complaints from me. I think I'll also touch on like the reason why I'm so happy to kind of be doing this is because of the COVID lockdowns and all that. It's just another level of gratitude, I think. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we didn't have gyms and stuff, and
Yep.
couldn't do shows, but now we can. And I'm like, I'm not going to take, I'm not going to feel like this is a chore. Like, this is a privilege, really, to do this. So,
Absolutely. Well, that's it. I mean, you guys in Melbourne copped it worse than anybody, basically in the world, with the lockdown, how strict it was. So it's, as tough as that was, the perspective the majority of the population now have is probably similar to yours. Just the fact that you've got the freedom, you can do what you want, and you're not going to hold back
yeah,
in any capacity.
can travel anywhere now. It's great.
Yep. How good. How good.
Don't have to be locked down to a 5 kilometer radius.
No, exactly. And that's it. And just the simplest things like going to the gym, which are now, well, or before we probably took for granted, but now, you probably think, how lucky am I?
Yeah. And that's the mindset you need to just keep going. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Deb. So what's a couple of tips you can give someone who's thinking of stepping into the world of bikini? Because, it's becoming ever increasingly popular, from amateur all the way up to pursuing the professional status, both natural and obviously through the IFBB ranks. But it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of consistency to get there, right? So what's some simple tips of getting started and maintaining that level of dedication too?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's tough, eh? Throw a curly one at you.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've done it. So what, you're obviously a person based on routine, right? As you said, you're very well organized, and that probably comes down to your professionalism, not only personally but professionally as well. So you apply that to your trade of bikini modeling. But what bits and pieces can you take out of that to apply for someone else that's going to work across a number of different.
Yeah, like, I guess if they're stepping into the world of competing, like, first time as well, I think it's probably just very important to the routine part of it is the main thing, and also be fine with doing the same stuff over and over again.
Good point.
That's where the results come from. It's not just the fancy, like, different workouts every week type of thing. It's the same thing every week.
Do you eat the same food pretty much every day?
Yeah. The only thing I change up is like sauces and stuff if I get sick of one type of sauce, but no, I like there's better results in eating the same thing every day. So yeah, you can change it up a little bit with like maybe a different snack, but my main core meals are the same. So I just buy the same meats, buy the same carbs, and it's same stuff.
But that supports the ideology of being organised and prepared in advance, doesn't it? Because you're cooking the same thing, so it becomes somewhat second nature, doesn't it?
Yeah, and groceries are so expensive at the moment, so there is an advantage to having the same stuff every week, I guess. No creative cooking here, but
Yep.
yeah, and just eating, more whole foods, and also keeping your foods to like, how stuff has like a lot of different chemicals or like different ingredients. I find the less type, like less amount of ingredients in foods, the better.
Yep.
So that's just a general rule of thumb for me. I'm like, oh, if this has like a whole heap of shit in it, I'm not gonna eat it. Like,
No, fair
it's
call.
not good.
Yeah. Yeah. You feed
Yeah.
your body appropriately and the results speak
Yeah.
for themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Unreal.
What else? Can't really, yeah, time management as well.
Mm.
Also support system. So having a really supportive partner is really important. Like Akira's been great this whole process. He's been coming up, like getting ready to go to gym the same time as me.
How
So
good.
yeah, and just pushing me as
He's
well.
got
Like,
long
come
hair now.
on.
I've seen in one of the videos. What's the go with that? I
Oh,
haven't seen him in ages, and then all of a sudden there's this long haired guy in the background.
no, he got it cut recently,
Oh, did
but
he? Okay.
that was a product of lockdowns as well, but I think I just kept growing it.
Go on the hippie look.
Yeah, a lot of guys. That actually happened to a lot of guys as well. Like I've noticed in the office, it's just
Yep.
long hair is the thing these days.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What else? Tips.
But even okay, how about this one? Like even on a flat day or a day where you don't feel like training, you still turn up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think because I know I'll feel a lot better after it.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, I don't know. It feels odd to have a morning where I don't go to gym. Like today was my rest day, and I was like, "Where's my endorphins? Like, want some
Yeah, fair
endorphins?"
cool. Yeah.
Um, but no, I think that's sometimes when the best gym sessions happen is when you don't want to
Mm.
go, and then you once you're there, you're there. Like, and then you kind of amp yourself up. So it's
Yep.
just sometimes it's just the journey of getting there that's just the hardest bit. So don't listen to your mind. Just
Stick to the
take
routine.
the emotions out of things. I think the same
Yep.
with the weather. Like if it's cold, it's cold. Like what are you gonna do about it?
In the
Um,
Lord.
yeah, I
Unreal.
think that's all I can think of
Yeah,
at the
that's okay.
moment.
No, that's all right. I just want to get your take on the whole experience because, as I said at the top, it's been pretty seamless without too many, well, no interruptions or no bumps along the way that we've had. Fingers crossed,
Mm.
knock on wood that continues.
Yeah,
But with the preparation you've done, the your time management, obviously endless hours of practice.
yeah,
Um, has brought you to this point, and obviously will put you in good stead for the season ahead. So that's really cool.
yeah. Consistency and repetition.
Yep,
That's pretty
absolutely.
much the main thing.
Yeah, 100%. How have you found your focus, your brain capacity, and just your focus, particularly because your work is obviously very detailed, right? So have
Yeah.
you noticed lapses of concentration or just second guessing yourself in that capacity, or has it still been pretty good?
No, it's still been pretty good.
Okay.
I do time my caffeine intake to kind of help that though. Like like 3 p.m. Like I'm like kind of like, oh yeah, I need a coffee like right now. It's like 2:30. I'm like, oh, I need to
It's almost time. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. But other than that, I've been fine. It's
Yep.
just my work is very detail oriented and like you need to be concentrated all the time. So
Mm.
it's been no problems yet. Touch wood, that's
Yeah.
all.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah.
Unreal. Well, give your freelance stuff a shout out too, because you obviously did my tattoo, which is obviously very detailed.
Hey, yeah.
I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, what sort of freelance stuff do you do that people can potentially contact you for?
Yeah, so I do it started off as like a hobby kind of thing. Like I was just doing drawing here and there. So for those who don't know me, like I do a bit of like art and illustration stuff on the side.
Yep.
I have found that it's a good distraction from hunger. So if you're in prep, maybe you should start drawing or something because it
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
helps. So you can find me on Instagram. My username is Deborah, DEBURUH dot JPEG, JPG. Yeah,
Okay.
oh, it's a hard one. Yeah, I don't know, art and illustration. I
Yep.
do mostly digital stuff. So
Okay. A
yeah,
little bit of tattoo design.
tattoo design I've started.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
have
cool.
had a couple more
Have
tattoo
you?
queries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice. That's cool.
I I haven't been like putting that much time into my freelancing at the moment because I'm just trying to focus on like rest and
Yeah, of
recovery. So
course. Yeah.
I'm a bit slow, but yeah,
No, unreal.
always happy to do some art.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I won't take up any more of your time. That was really good to get a bit of an insight with, with 21 days to go. We might even,
Yeah,
after your Japan trip, when you get back, we might even touch base again and just do a bit of a wrap on the entire season, hey, and see how it's all gone.
yeah,
Give an
yeah.
update
That'd
and
be
how you
fun.
felt and how you looked, and yeah, that'll be exciting as well.
Yeah, I'm keen for that. That'd be good.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Deb. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Hey, that was awesome, and I've got to thank Deb for her time. It was actually middle of one of her work days. She does work from home, so that was convenient enough. But she gave up her time to have a chat to us and just give us a bit of an insight into how her preparation has gone. And today being the 18th of August, a Friday, we are now effectively 21 days out from her first show of four, culminating in the Amateur Olympia in Japan. So it's a big season for Deb, and I wish her all the best. I'll obviously be there for the majority of that. But if you've enjoyed this podcast, please screenshot it and share it on your stories. Tag myself, tag Deb as well at Deborah Morris. You'll find her on Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel, which is really cool, and basically videographs all of her training. Now, if you're interested in any of my coaching services or Paul's Strength Book, the training app, please jump on Paul's Body Engineering, paulsbodyengineering.com. You think I'd get it right by now, and have a look around. Alternatively, you're welcome to message me directly and ask any questions you may have. But for now, everyone have an amazing day. And as I say to every client every single day, have a great day.